Our homes are granite, and we are made of sterner stuff. Dwarven proverb. The dwarves have an ancient culture with rich traditions going back millennium. Despite this, the dwarves had never been united until recently. Instead, the culture was broken up between innumerable duchies, earldoms, and the occasional kingdom. Occasionally they were at war with each other, and other times they worked together. A notable organization was the Dwarven Confederation that formed in the north. The Southern League was richer, but remained divided by infighting and only came together occasionally. The states to the west were the poorest and most vulnerable, so for much of the history were only of interest to the Orcish raiders coming from Udloth. These regions have their own differences as well. Most of them are imperceptible to outsiders. The West has the strongest martial tradition and are considered the hardiest. The North is the center of industry and had a tradition of naval excellence, but has since been eclipsed by others, although the reputation remains. Finally, in the South, the dwarves are the dwarves with the most interaction with other species, and are the most prosperous and tend to have more merchants as well as the majority of the centers of learning. In the past, the North had sent out raiders and settlers that found their way across the eastern and southern coasts of the continent, up to the Horns, and left dwarven artifacts, culture, and people in their wake. These voyages broke the kingdoms of Durath and Hamvel, while at the same time they helped to bring the elven diaspora together. More recently, or at least recently in the perspective of the dwarves, the southern dwarven states have begun to seek advantage over one another and began expanding into gnomish lands to the south. This brought interest from the newly united elven kingdom on the other side of the gnomish lands. The conflict this sparked would last centuries on and off until the dwarves united and negotiated a peace with the elves. The reemergence of a strong Orcish kingdom in the east and subsequent invasion prompted the southern and northern dwarves to unite and retake the western states from the orcs. With the south unable to muster a cohesive force, it fell to the Dwarven Confederation in the north to lead the combined armies, putting them in a stronger position after the war. By the end of the hostilities, the Dwarven Confederation had already welcomed the other free states, including those of the Southern League, or absorbed the formerly occupied states, promising to help them rebuild. The momentum towards to unification seemed unstoppable and quickly came to fruition as the Confederation became the Linnoitus Empire. The former independent states would continue to have a voice in the Riksdag, but the ultimate authority would be held by the Craigie Emperor. As a united front, they were able to negotiate an end to the conflict with the elves and established the independence of the gnomish states. In the century since this peace was established, Linnoitus has shown a greater interest outside its own territory. The country has rebuilt itself as a cohesive state with common laws and systems throughout. There is some apprehension as they search for where to expand next, in new markets or new territory. They are territorially hemmed in by treaties, and commercially, the area is dominated by Ashuna and Heim. The southern continents provide for a tempting target, but so far are dominated by the expansion of Terra Delis Justos, who the dwarves have no great love for, but who are also rivals of Ashuna and Heim, making them a tempting alliance.